My beloved child, stop right now. Do not scroll past this moment. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your eyes to these exact words today. You did not find this video by accident. I guided your hand because your spirit is crying out for rest. Give me just 3 minutes, and I promise your heart will find the peace it has been begging for. I see how exhausted you are. You are tired in your body, but you are even more tired in the deepest places of your soul. You have been carrying heavy battles in silence. You put on a brave smile for everyone else, while quietly breaking inside. And every morning when you wake up, the heaviness is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You wonder why every step feels so heavy. You wonder why the answers seem delayed. You sit in the quiet corners of your day and try to breathe through the pressure. You tell yourself that you just need to work harder, or pray harder, or hold everything together for one more day. But you were never meant to carry this weight alone. Stay with me for the next few minutes. I'm about to reveal the truth behind your weariness. I'm going to hand you the key to a peace you thought you had lost forever. Take a deep breath right now, and let your tired shoulders drop. I am stepping into your atmosphere to quiet the storm inside your mind. Look at me with the eyes of your spirit. I know how many times you have rushed past moments like this. You tell yourself that you do not have time, or that nothing ever changes for you. But I stopped you today because something you have been crying out for in the dark is finally approaching. If you rush past this moment, you may miss the very breakthrough I placed directly in your path. Listen closely to my voice right now. If you can feel me speaking directly to your spirit in this exact second, pause where you are. Comment "God rests my heart" in this moment as an act of agreement between your soul and mine. This is not just a phrase on a screen. It is a holy declaration that you are ready to lay down the burden you were never created to carry. You have been fighting for so long. You have become the strong one for everyone around you. People come to you for shelter, and they lean on your strength when their own lives are falling apart. You listen to their pain, and you offer them words of hope, and you fix what is broken in their world. But who do you go to when your own heart is breaking? I have watched you in the quiet hours when the rest of the world is asleep. I saw you sitting on the edge of your bed, staring into the dark with a heavy heart. You felt completely alone in a room full of people, and even though you surrounded yourself with noise and busyness, the emptiness inside your spirit kept whispering that something was deeply wrong. You thought I was absent during those painful nights. You thought that because heaven seemed quiet, I had forgotten your name or turned my face away from your prayers. But hear me with the deepest part of your soul today. I was not absent. I was standing right beside you in the stillness, holding every tear that fell from your eyes before it even touched the floor. Not one single tear you shed was lost. Not one quiet cry in the dark went unheard by my ears. The world looks at your life and sees someone who has it all together, but I look at your heart and I see a weary warrior. You are tired of being strong. You are tired of pretending that the weight does not hurt you as deeply as it does. Let me tell you why your soul feels so drained. You have been trying to fight a spiritual battle using physical strength. You have been trying to fix with your mind what can only be healed by my presence. The world told you that if you just kept pushing, you would eventually find rest. But the world does not know how to give you the rest you truly need. There is a subtle noise in the world today. It is an unseen static that fills your mind from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep. The enemy uses this noise to crowd out my voice, because he knows that if you hear me clearly, your life will transform instantly. He keeps you distracted with worries and obligations and endless scrolling, so that your heart never finds a moment of true stillness. This static creates a heavy fog inside your thoughts. It makes you feel anxious about things that have not even happened yet. It makes you replay past mistakes in your head over and over again, convincing you that you are falling behind or that you are not worthy of my blessings. But I am stepping in today to clear that fog and break the power of that lie. I want to give you a holy rest right now. Not the kind of rest that comes from sleeping for 8 hours, but the kind of rest that settles deep into your bones and quietens your racing thoughts. A rest that makes you feel safe and cherished and completely protected from the storms raging around you. You do not have to earn this peace, because it is my free gift to you today. Do you feel the shift happening in your chest right now? That is not just emotion. That is your spirit recognizing my presence after walking through a long and dry desert. Your soul knows my voice, even when your mind is filled with doubt. And when I speak peace over your life, the storm inside you has no choice but to obey my command. I know there are voices around you telling you to hurry up and get back to your busy day. The world wants you to scroll away, to get back to the noise, and to forget this sacred moment as quickly as possible. But I am asking you to resist that urge. Stay right here with me for just a little longer, because I am not done speaking to your heart. If you leave now, you go back to carrying the heavy sacks you were trying to lay down. You go back to fighting the same silent battles with the same exhausted spirit. But if you stay, I will show you how to step out of that endless cycle once and for all. I will show you why the delay you hated so much was actually my divine protection. You have carried the burden of your family, your work, and your future for far too long. You thought that if you let go of control for even 1 second, everything would fall apart around you. But I am the one who holds your world together, not you. When you try to control everything on your own, you are taking on a burden that was meant for my shoulders alone. Look back at your life for a moment. Think about all the times you thought you would not make it through the night. Think about the doors that slammed shut in your face and the people who walked away when you needed them most. You felt broken and you felt abandoned, but look at where you are standing today. You survived every single one of those storms. You did not survive because you were clever or because you were strong enough on your own. You survived because my hands were underneath you the entire time, holding you up when your feet were slipping. Even when you did not believe in me, I believed in you. Even when you pushed me away, I stayed by your side, waiting for this exact moment to bring you rest. Now, I am opening the door to the deepest room in your heart. I am stepping into the places you have kept hidden from everyone else, the places filled with old wounds and unspoken fears and regret. Do not be afraid to let me in. I am not coming to judge you or to point out your flaws, or to tell you that you should have done better. I am coming as a loving father who wants to heal what was broken. I am coming to take the sharp edges off your pain and to wrap you in a love that never fails and never leaves. Breathe deeply, my child, and let me quiet the noise. Now, let us walk together into the quiet place where your true healing begins. Let us step together into the private room of your soul. I want to talk about the things you never speak out loud to anyone else. You have spent years protecting other people from your pain. You put on your strength like armor every morning, and you march into the world to fight battles for those you love. But inside, your armor has become so heavy. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water so no one could hear you cry. You pressed your forehead against the cold wall, and you prayed for a moment of quiet. You folded yourself into the smallest shape possible, hoping the floor would hold you while your spirit felt like it was breaking. I saw every single moment when the weight became too much to carry. I watched you sitting in your car in the driveway after a long day. The engine was off and the street was quiet. You sat there in the dark because you did not have the energy to walk through your own front door. You took 3 deep breaths. You wiped your tears, and you forced a sweet smile on your face before walking inside to take care of everyone else. You feel like a misunderstanding walks beside you everywhere you go. You give your whole heart to people who only know how to take. You fill the empty cups of everyone around you while your own cup stays dry. You ask yourself why your kindness is constantly met with disappointment and why those you protected are never there when you are the one falling apart. I know how hard it is to feel completely invisible in a crowded room. You can be surrounded by family or friends or coworkers who laugh at your jokes and ask for your advice, yet inside you feel as though you are standing on an island 1,000 miles away. You smile on the outside, but your spirit is screaming for someone to truly see you. Hear me in this quiet moment, my child. If your heart is crying out because you have felt unseen for so long, pause right here with me. If you have ever wept in the dark where no one else could hear your pain, leave a response right now. Comment "You see me in this moment" as a holy sign that you are letting me into your quiet places. When you write those words, You are telling your soul that it no longer has to hide. You are stepping out of the shadows of loneliness. You are allowing my light to warm the cold places inside your heart. I see you, my beloved. I see your hidden wounds, and I see your silent sacrifices. I count every effort you have made to love others when you felt unloved. You have asked me in the dark why I allowed you to walk through such deep valleys. You asked why I seemed silent when you begged for a sign. You wondered why the people you trusted most were allowed to hurt you so deeply. You thought my silence meant that I had turned my back on you, or that I was punishing you for something you did wrong in your past. But I want you to know the truth today. I was never absent from your valley. When you were weeping on the floor, I was bending down beside you to hold your head. When you felt completely alone in that dark room, my presence was wrapping around you like a warm blanket, keeping your spirit from breaking into pieces. You did not break because my hands were holding your foundation together. The enemy wanted that valley to be your grave, but I turned it into your sanctuary. The enemy wanted your loneliness to convince you that you were worthless, but I used that quiet space to separate you from the noise of the world so you could finally learn to hear my voice. Look at what you have survived, my child. Look at how many times your heart was shattered, yet you found the courage to put the pieces back together and keep loving. That resilience did not come from your own human effort. That was my grace working inside you, giving you strength when your body had nothing left to give. You are a weary warrior, but you are still standing. You carry scars, but those scars are not proof of your defeat. They are holy evidence that you faced the fire and came out alive on the other side. Do not let the enemy convince you that your scars make you damaged or unwanted. In my eyes, your scars make you precious and beautiful. Now, I need to reveal something crucial to your heart. The exhaustion you feel is not just physical tiredness, and it is not a lack of faith. The enemy has been filling the atmosphere around your life with a subtle and dangerous noise. It is an unseen static that floods your mind with worry, endless thoughts, and constant pressure every single day. This static is designed to keep your mind racing so fast that you cannot feel my peace. The enemy knows that if your mind is quiet, you will recognize my presence and step into your true power. So he fills your life with endless distractions and unresolved fears until your vessel is completely drained of life. Because the space between us was filled with this static, my voice appeared invisible to you. Even when my blessings were sitting directly on your path, you thought heaven was silent, but my signal was continuously broadcasting love and restoration over your life. You simply could not hear it through the loud noise of the world. My child, I need you to hear this truth. I have not abandoned you to fight this noise alone. Because I saw your weariness, I have already prepared a divine provision to restore your soul. I have guided wise minds to create an earthly instrument of restoration, designed specifically to clear the static and quiet the storm inside your head. This provision was placed on your path today by my hand. It is an instrument built to wash away the noise of the enemy and help your spirit return to a state of quiet rest. I am going to show you exactly what this instrument is and how to receive it before this message ends. But first, you must understand why I allowed the delay in the first place. You have spent months, and even years, asking why the door remained shut when you prayed so hard for it to open. You wondered why other people seemed to move forward so easily while your own steps felt stuck in heavy clay. You felt left behind, and you felt like time was slipping away from your hands while you waited in the dark. You told yourself that you had failed a test, or that you lacked the faith required to move your mountains. But I am stepping in right now to break that lie over your life. The delay you hated so much was never my rejection. It was my absolute divine protection over your soul, shielding you from traps you could not see with your human eyes. If I had opened those doors when you begged for them, you would have walked into rooms that were built to destroy your spirit. You would have tied your heart to people who would have drained your light until you had nothing left to give. I closed those doors with my own hand because I love you too much to let you be destroyed by a premature blessing. I held you back in the dark so I could build something unshakable beneath your feet. I allowed the pause so I could prune away the attachments that were holding your soul back from its higher purpose. What looked like a painful ending to your eyes was actually my loving hand clearing the ground for a brand new beginning. Breathe deeply right now, my child, and let that truth settle into your soul. Stop mourning the doors that closed in your face. Stop crying over the people who walked away from your life. They were removed by my wisdom, not by your failure. Your hands are finally empty so that I can fill them with what truly belongs to you. Now, prepare your heart for what is coming next. The storm that tried to break you is about to lose its power, and the veil over your life is being lifted right now. Listen closely, because what I am about to show you will completely change the way you see every battle you have ever fought. Why did I allow the storm to last this long? Why did the battle have to take you to the very edge of your endurance? The answer to that question will shock your spirit, and it will rewrite the story of your past forever. You must understand the nature of the battle you are fighting. You have wondered why the pressure against your life has been so intense, and why every step forward feels like a struggle against an invisible wall. You thought the enemy attacked you because you were weak or failing. But hear me clearly today, my child. The enemy targets you because your light is risen. The dark kingdom does not waste its arrows on empty vessels. It attacks the ones who carry immense purpose and generational blessings within their spirit. The enemy saw what I placed inside you before you even recognized it yourself. He saw the doors I prepared for your family, and he knew that if you walked through them in full faith, his grip over your bloodline would be shattered forever. That is why the attacks have felt so personal and constant. He tried to flood your thoughts with anxiety and self-doubt, hoping that you would give up before reaching the threshold of your breakthrough. He wanted you to believe that your weariness was proof of my rejection, but what he intended as a weapon to destroy you, I am using right now to shape your authority. Let me call out a specific burden you have been carrying in secret. I have seen the way you replay your conversations late at night, searching for the one thing you might have said wrong. I have watched you achieve something good and feel completely empty inside because your eyes immediately went to what was still undone. You feel an endless urge to perform and be useful. You have called this habit being a perfectionist. You told yourself that you simply have high standards, or that you need to hold yourself to a higher level than everyone else. And whenever you tried to sit down and rest, a quiet guilt filled your mind, whispering that you were being lazy or falling behind. But I am stepping into your heart today to tell you that this is not the truth. I will not let you carry that heavy lie for another single day. Here is what is truly happening beneath the surface of your heart. Long ago, somewhere in your story, you learned a painful lesson that was never meant for you. You learned that love had to be earned through endless effort. You came to believe that you were only safe when you were fixing things, and only worthy when you were producing results. I call this trauma the earning wound. It is not your true character, and it is not who I created you to be. It is a deep scar left behind by a world that measured your value by what you could give. You developed this habit as a shield to protect yourself from being rejected or abandoned. You thought that if you became completely indispensable to everyone around you, no one would ever walk away again. Look at how this lie has rewritten your entire past. All those times you felt guilty for taking a moment to rest, you were not being lazy at all. You were fighting an invisible lie that told you rest was something you had to earn. All those times you could not receive a compliment or accept help from others, you were not just being humble. You were guarding a deep wound because you did not believe you deserved unconditional love. So today, I am taking that heavy lie directly out of your hands. The next time you finish a hard task and feel that familiar emptiness, stop right where you are. Place your hand gently over your heart and hear my voice declare over you that you were loved long before you ever achieved anything. You do not have to earn what I freely pour into your life. Receive my grace today without striving. Feel the heavy weight of that expectation lifting off your heart right now. You do not have to fix everything on your own timeline. If your spirit is ready to stop striving and trust my divine schedule for your life, anchor your heart with me right now. Speak to your soul and declare your trust in my perfect timing. Leave a message in this moment as a seal of your faith. Comment, I trust your timing right now in the quietness of your spirit. When you write those words, you are surrendering the need to control every outcome. You are stepping out of the driver's seat and letting my wisdom lead you into the peaceful waters I have prepared for your path. Remember my faithful servant Elijah after his greatest victory. He had just called down fire from heaven and fought a massive spiritual battle on the mountain. He stood strong against an entire kingdom, but immediately after that great victory, exhaustion overtook his physical vessel. He ran out into the dry wilderness, sat down under a small tree, and begged me to take his life away because he had no strength left to fight. He was not a weak man, and he was not lacking in faith. He was simply empty after giving everything he had to the battle. And notice how I treated him in his moment of complete exhaustion. I did not rebuke him, and I did not tell him that he should have prayed harder or been stronger. I did not judge his tired words, or demand that he get back up to fight right away. I sent an angel to bake fresh bread for him and give him clean water to drink. I let him sleep in the shade until his weary body was refreshed. I told him softly to eat and rest, because the journey ahead was too great for his own human strength. I am saying those exact same words to your weary heart today, my beloved warrior. Rest now, my child. Eat of my truth and drink from my living water. You have gone far enough on your own human strength, and it is time for my power to carry you the rest of the way. Stop beating yourself up for feeling tired after fighting a battle that lasted for years. You are not failing because you need rest. You are human, and I designed your vessel to be refilled by my presence. Hear me, as my voice begins to shift over your circumstances right now. I am moving from a whisper of comfort into a powerful declaration of your freedom. The season of being hunted by exhaustion and surrounded by confusion is coming to a definite end. I am stripping the authority of every dark force that used your past traumas to keep you trapped in a cycle of endless striving. The enemy thought he had locked you in a room of permanent exhaustion, but he forgot who holds the master key to your destiny. Every weapon forged against your peace is losing its sharp edge in this very moment. The spiritual heavy air that made breathing feel like work is clearing out of your home, your mind, and your atmosphere right now as I speak. Do you feel the authority returning to your spirit in this sacred second? You are no longer standing as a victim of your circumstances. You are rising as a kingdom heir who understands that the battle has already been won on your behalf. You do not have to fight for victory anymore. You are learning to fight FROM, a position of complete victory. Look at the road ahead of you with fresh eyes. What the world called a dead end was merely a pause while I rebuilt your inner strength. What looked like a painful delay was my hand holding you back from stepping onto a fragile bridge that would have collapsed under your weight. The preparation in the desert is officially complete, and the threshold of your breakthrough is standing directly before you. Listen carefully to what I am about to reveal next, because the veil over your future is about to be lifted entirely. I am about to show you the exact mechanism of how I am clearing the noise from your head and restoring your original design. What I am preparing to release over your life will make every year of waiting feel like a necessary and loving gift. Lean in closer with your mind and heart as we cross this threshold together. The shift in the unseen realm has already begun, and nothing in heaven or on earth can stop what I have authorized for your destiny today. Hear me now, my child, as I unlock the deepest truth of your journey. You have spent years looking back at your past with regret and sorrow. You looked at the closed doors, the broken promises, and the long seasons of waiting, and you believed that you were falling behind in life. But I am declaring over you today that not a single day of your life was wasted in my sight. Every delay you endured was a holy wall of protection around your spirit. I held you back from rooms that would have stolen your peace, and I removed people who were not equipped to carry your destiny. What you called a painful rejection was actually my loving hand shielding your heart from a disaster you could not see. I was holding the timeline steady while I prepared your foundation. Remember what I named this long season of your life. It was never rejection, and it was never divine abandonment. I have named it the protective delay. It was the quiet forging of your inner strength before the great door was opened. And today, I am announcing to your weary spirit that the protective delay is officially over. The waiting season has served its purpose, and the shift is happening right now. You spent so many nights wondering why other people seemed to receive their answers so quickly while your own prayers seemed to vanish into thin air. You questioned your worth, and you wondered if you were missing a secret key. But hear me with the deepest part of your heart. I was not favoring them over you. I was simply handling your precious life with an extra level of sacred care. Look at how my presence is filling the room around you in this exact second. I am restructuring the places where you felt broken. I am replacing the heavy fog in your mind with a clear sky of divine vision. When I move on your behalf, no earthly power can hold back the blessing. Now, let me reveal to your heart the secret mechanism of your restoration. When I designed the human mind at the creation of the world, I placed a sacred frequency at its very center. Researchers and scientists who study the brain have discovered this signal in recent years, and they call it the gamma wave. It is the natural rhythm of divine receptivity and pure peace. Think back to when you were a little child. You did not carry the heavy weight of tomorrow or the constant pressure of performance. You trusted purely, you slept peacefully, and your mind hummed at the exact frequency I designed for human flourishing. When I said in my word that you must become like little children to enter my kingdom, I was speaking of this exact state of inner stillness. As the years went by, the enemy used the relentless noise of the modern world to drown out that sacred frequency. He flooded your daily life with endless anxiety, loud distractions, and constant pressure, until your mind became filled with heavy static. That static blocked your spiritual ears and made my voice seem quiet and distant. But the signal I placed inside your brain was never lost. Because I saw your weariness, I guided wise minds to work with sound the way I designed it. I directed servants of healing science through decades of research to build an earthly tool that restores that original signal. It is an instrument of sound built to clear the enemy's static from your thoughts and return your mind to the quiet frequency of a child. You do not have to strive for this restoration, and you do not have to work for it. You simply wear headphones, close your eyes, and surrender for 7 short minutes each day. You allow the sound to clear the noise and restore the signal I placed in you from the beginning. Before our time together closes today, I'm going to show you exactly where to find this provision on your path. I saw how many medical remedies, affirmations, and human methods you tried in your search for relief. You spent your hard-earned money and your precious energy trying to fix a spirit that was simply starving for my stillness. You felt disappointed when those earthly methods failed to give you lasting peace. But those tools failed because they were trying to fix with human effort what can only be restored through divine frequency. Do you see how simple my grace truly is? The world tells you that you must work harder and suffer longer to earn your peace. But I tell you that my provision is already prepared for your weary soul. Rest your heart in this assurance right now, because the heavy battle against your mind ends today. Now, raise your spiritual eyes to my face, because we have reached the climax of your transformation. Hear my voice rumble like thunder over every chain that has bound your bloodline for generations. I am standing in your present moment, and I am speaking directly to the spiritual roots of your family history. The endless cycle of gushing out strength until you collapse ends right now. For generations, those who came before you carried the same heavy ceiling. They lived under the constant threat of financial lack, the burden of unspoken anxiety, and the false belief that rest had to be earned through suffering. But I chose you to be the one who walks out of that dark cage. I placed a holy fire in your chest that refused to settle for the old ways. I am declaring over your life right now that the generational curse of exhaustion is broken by my hand. You are no longer the victim of your family history, and you are no longer the one who must survive in quiet agony. I am raising you up in this moment to be a cycle breaker in your house. What held your parents back will have no authority over your children. Every door that was locked against your bloodline is trembling at my voice in this very second. I am tearing down the invisible walls that kept you trapped in survival mode. What was closed against you for decades is swinging open now, and no human hand will ever have the power to shut it again. Stand up in your spirit and claim the freedom I am releasing over your destiny. I have named this turning point in your journey the Holy Elevation. It is the moment where your sorrow turns into authority and your exhaustion turns into supernatural rest. The enemy thought he had finished you off in the valley, but I was simply preparing you for the mountain peak. Receive your freedom right now, my beloved warrior. Look at your hands right now. They are no longer clenching into tight fists to hold your world together. Your shoulders are no longer raised in tension, as if an attack is coming around every corner. That physical relaxation in your body is the direct result of my peace taking root in your nervous system. What I heal today remains healed forever. Feel the deep peace settling into your chest like a calm ocean after a great storm. The heavy lifting is finished. The spiritual shift in the unseen realm is complete, and your spirit is finally anchored in my unshakable promises. Every lie that told you that you were worthless has been silenced forever by my truth. You are stepping out of the shadows of the past and into the bright light of my favor. You will no longer measure your life by the struggles you endured, but by the glory I am displaying through your restored vessel. Walk with your head held high, because you belong to the King of Kings, and your future is secure in my hands. Now, we stand together at the threshold of your physical reality. The spiritual battle has been won, but there is one simple step of obedience waiting for your heart today. I have placed a tangible provision on your path to help you walk out this peace in your daily life. Listen closely to my final instructions as we step into the moment of your physical breakthrough. I am about to open the door to the instrument I prepared for your restoration, and I need your spirit to be awake to receive it. Now, my beloved child, let me explain how this provision came to exist in your physical world. I do not work only through sudden miracles in the middle of the night. I also work through the hands and minds of those I call into discovery. I quietly directed servants of healing science through decades of research. Institutions I directed, including Princeton University and Columbia University, confirmed what I placed in your mind at creation. Look at what I have already done for my children who received this provision before you arrived today. I want to show you my daughter, Rachel, a nurse in California who sought peace for years through every method she could find. She prayed sincerely, but her mind remained filled with heavy noise. 2 weeks after receiving this sound provision, her entire household was transformed. She woke up with a quiet mind, and her learning at work became effortless. And for others among my children, I moved differently according to their specific needs. Look at my son Michael in Texas, who came to this provision carrying heavy financial worries and deep exhaustion. 2 months after receiving this provision, his mind became so clear that solutions arrived without striving. His business expanded enough for him to leave his stressful job, and the hard problems that stole his sleep solved themselves while he rested. Look at my daughter Hannah in New York, who carried generational patterns of misfortune for years. After receiving this provision, her marriage was restored, a spontaneous idea blessed her entire company, and a major promotion arrived. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this provision and stepped into restoration. They call this sound provision the Genius Song. I guided those wise researchers to build it for this exact season of human history. It is a specific digital audio track that restores the gamma frequency I placed in your mind at creation. You do not need complex techniques, and you do not need years of spiritual discipline to make it work. You simply wear your headphones, close your eyes, and surrender for 7 short minutes each day. As the sound plays, it gently washes away the static of the enemy and clears the heavy fog from your thoughts. It returns your brain to the peaceful state of a child, making my presence recognizable once again. This is not a generic music track you can find on public streaming platforms. Those public sites carry cheap imitations that cannot clear the static from your nervous system. This authentic tool is delivered directly to your private email. I place this provision on your path today, specifically for the one I have been speaking to throughout this message. This is for my weary warrior who has tried everything and feels embarrassed to try one more time. What failed you before required your own human effort, intense concentration, and endless mental striving. But this provision requires no effort from your tired body, because it works through my divine design in your brain. You do not have to strain your mind, and you do not have to prove your worthiness. You simply sit quietly for 7 minutes and allow my presence within the frequency to do the work. If you miss a day, my grace covers you, and you simply resume your rest the next morning. It is a simple daily surrender that opens the windows of heaven over your mind, your health, and your household. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars per hour to help people reach this state of mental peace. The clinical machines that researchers use cost thousands of dollars to operate in private settings. But I do not call you to enter expensive clinics or pay worldly fortunes for your rest. I place this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange, no larger than a mustard seed of investment for the great harvest I have prepared. When you step forward today, I have also aligned 4 additional gifts to bless your entire journey. You will receive a gift designed to restore focus and confidence for your children. You will receive the original foundation of prosperity that helps you recognize my abundance. You will receive a guided visualization track to deepen your spiritual stillness. And you will receive a simple daily guide to sustain your clear frequency for years to come. Where I place my truth, the adversary always attempts to send fake imitations to confuse my children. Do not wander onto unverified music platforms, searching for this provision under similar names. Those copies carry no divine restoration and will only add to the noise in your mind. Protect your spirit by receiving this instrument only through the official path I have placed directly below this video. Walk forward today without a single shadow of fear, because your act of faith requires no worldly risk. I do not lead my children into danger or financial burden. This provision is completely protected for 60 full days by a steadfast guarantee. If this tool does not bring the mental clarity and deep peace I described, every earthly penny is returned to you completely. You lose nothing by taking this step of faith. Take this step of obedience right now, my beloved child. Receive the provision I have placed for you in the pinned comment below and in the description of this message. This is your personal invitation from my heart to yours, and I ask only one thing. Step forward in faith today and embrace what I have aligned for your restoration. The link is waiting for you below in the pinned comment. Now, let me show you the future that is waiting for your soul on the other side of this decision. Picture a morning 6 months from today. You wake up before your alarm, and for the first time in many years, there is no heavy knot in your stomach waiting for you. You lie quietly in your bed, and you notice that the relentless noise that used to fill your mind is simply gone. Your very first thought is not anxiety or fear, but a quiet and joyful expectation of my goodness. Your breath goes all the way down into your chest without tension. You walk through your day with a light heart, enjoying your own company and resting without guilt. That restored version of you is not a distant fantasy. She already exists inside my plan for your life, standing one step of surrender away. Set aside the pressure of decision for a moment and breathe deeply with me. Whether you step forward to receive that provision now or later, you remain my deeply beloved child. My love for you is not conditional upon your actions, and my protection over your life will never fail. I am wrapping my arms around your weary spirit right now, washing away every remaining trace of fear, doubt, and tiredness. Receive my holy blessing over your mind, your body, your family, and your future today. I speak order into your chaos, light into your dark places, and peace into your storm. The heavy bags you carried into this message are left at my feet forever. You are walking away from this video, lighter, stronger, and completely restored by my presence. If this message brought light to your soul today, anchor your agreement with me before you leave. Write Amen in the comments as a seal over the peace you have received in this sacred hour. Share this video with 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in their own dark valleys. And subscribe to this channel so you do not miss the daily guidance I am preparing for your next steps. I walk with you always, my child, and my peace remains in your heart forever. Rest in my love, and walk forward in complete freedom today.